Hello, hello, and welcome to Bla Bla Black Sheep, a weekly yarny podcast where I, Sarah Korth of SEK Handmade, answer your yarny questions. Ask me a question, any question. I'm so glad you're here. It is lovely to be back with you again this week. My friends, I'm wearing my Isadora shawl again in a totally different color, in a totally different way. Let me undo myself here and show you how I am wrapped up in it. First of all, here she is. I showed her last week in this single colorway, but also a 5 colorway combination, and then a super giganto shawl that I was just experimenting with, but I know I'm gonna love it when it gets real chilly out and I need to just wrap up and be so cozy. So this is my favorite shawl shape. She is a crescent that, kind of wraps all the way around, which makes it perfect for wrapping up in because it naturally shapes around your body. So I'm going to put my point in the center here, kind of throw both sides. Real good start here. Over my shoulder. I'm going to be a little more cozy today, and so I'm going to put it all the way up by my neck, and then I'm going to take one side, wrap it around and on top. I'm going to take the other side, I'm going to wrap it under, and then I'm going to stick it through the middle. Okay, so I've got this flat adjace, and I've got my short end that's coming through the center and my longer end that's just wrapped around the outside. I'm going to take my longer end to wrap around my shorter end and give me a little tie there. Just zhuzh a little bit. I'm not loving that. Do I need to go over and under? That's what I needed to do. Okay, so I went on top, around, and then you see the little the shawl instead of the knot, if that makes sense. And then I can just kind of zhuzh that up around the top, and there you go. It's super nice and cozy, but not like too crazy bulky. Lays the shawl nice and flat so you can see all the prettiness. I love it. I love it. This is a fast favorite of mine. And the pattern is available now, so link in the description. You don't have to hunt it down. I'm here to help. So, highly recommend. Wonderful. The perfect fall shawl. What is bringing me joy, you guys? We are just recently back from a little fun family getaway. We took our boys to the water park for the first time. Condense it down, Sarah. We had our boys start taking some intensive lessons, swimming lessons at a swim academy. They were very up and down about how much they enjoyed it, and we told them, too bad, it is important to be safe in the water, and once you've improved enough, we'll go to a water park. So they have made amazing strides in the last just year and a couple months that they've been taking these intensive lessons. We are very proud of them. We ended up canceling our summer family vacation due to all the stuff going on with my mom. And so we thought we should sneak a little trip in here. And it was a good time. It was not like flashy, fancy, like Riviera vacation. I don't even know if that's a thing. But it was good to get away. And it brought me a lot of joy to bring the boys a lot of joy. Guys, small businesses, one last time. I mean, not last time, but one last time this season. I'm rocking my Cheeky Ceramics Halloween mug because I still am a haunt mess before coffee. And Halloween was just like yesterday, right? Yeah. So happy November. I'm still in Halloween mode, but just for today. So that's Cheeky Ceramics. The yarn in my shawl is Blue Sky Fibers. I will link to it and the specific colorway because it's amazing and you're going to want to make something out of it. And then I'm wearing a pair of my favorite earrings. They are Pickled Pottery. As I was looking up her link again, I was like, when is it too early to start Christmas shopping for myself? She has so many cute things and I want them all. Oh, I want them all. I will, just quick little note, it's an Etsy shop and she has an earrings tab. Don't go to that. She has not categorized a lot of her earrings in the earring tab. So if you go to the earring section, it's like 2 pairs of earrings, but in reality, there are quite a few pairs of earrings. They just aren't in the earring tab. So also, if you're not a big earring person, she has lots of really cute necklaces. Announcements. Okay, I said this last week, but I want to just say it again because I feel really badly. In episode 27, we talked about holiday gift giving, and I told you you could get a free holiday gift organizer. And then I didn't set it up right, and so several of you signed up and did not receive your gift organizer. Go to episode 27, give it a little watch. Lots of good tips there for getting organized early so that you can have a relaxing holiday. And then there's a link to get your free holiday gift organizer. Again, I apologize to those of you who missed out and it didn't work. I'm so sorry. I feel real badly. The Olivia Crochet Along mystery, that was all out of order, is over. It ended on the 29th. I'm going to give it just a week though to make sure that everybody's reels done before I show you my 4 cowls, which one of them will just have to be a picture because it's already at the yarn shop, but I have pictures. So that is that. The Crochet Cancer Challenge is done. Keep following along with Christine though, especially if you're a blanket lover. Christine designs the most adorable blankets. So love her designs. And look at that. That's all I have for announcements. If you don't want to miss out on anything, sign up for my email list. If you are a local to me person and you sign up for my email list, I also have a section of local people, and I send them out my classes. So if you are local to me and would like to receive those emails telling you when my local classes are, shoot me an email so that I can add you, excuse me, I can add you to that local list so that you get those emails too. I'm doing some Learn to Crochet classes, and you guys, they're totally full, which is totally awesome. So, like, more new crocheters, yay! That's so exciting. I am flying. We're ready for questions. Can you believe it? All right, let's talk some questions. If you have a question, there is a link in the show notes. It's totally anonymous, and I'm up for anything. So leave me a question. I'd love to answer it. Okay, question number 1. I am newish to crochet, and I've started lots of projects, but often get hung up on an instruction or a stitch and set the project aside. I have so many unfinished projects. How can I avoid this? Okay, this is me. If I'm feeling unsure about a next step in a pattern, a lot of times I'll be like, oh, it's fine. I'll just figure it out later. And then I set it aside and I don't come back to it. And especially if you're new and it's just like you've only got a bunch of half projects, and that's so sad. You want to be able to show off your work. So a few suggestions. I was the same. I took a class, I learned the basics. I thought I can do harder things. And then I started buying more complicated patterns. And for the most part, it was like, let me hold your hand at the very beginning. And then it was like, boom, push you off the ledge for more intermediate stuff. And because that was a struggle for me, and because that's not the kind of learner I am, and I know there are more people out there like that, I created, yes, this is a plug for me, because I've decided to stand in my truth that I'm a talented teacher. It is what I am made for. It is how my brain works. Not only am I an actual trained, used to be elementary school teacher, but also it's how my brain works. It's my passion, and the thing I have always been is a teacher. And no offense to other designers, but not everyone who wants to teach you something is good at it. Just like not everybody who might be interested in physics is actually good at it, or who is interested in physics would actually be any good at teaching physics to other people. I'm just saying. The smartest people are not always the best teachers. Good news. I'm not the smartest person. And I'm fine with that. Anyways, I have created a pattern system specifically to teach you more intermediate skills. I make really in-depth videos. I'm not just going to show you how to do it. I'm going to tell you why we're doing it so that it can really stick in your brain and you can really learn. So go check out my tiered pattern systems. They go through a small, simple project that's going to teach you one thing, move you on to a bigger project, and then move you on to a more complicated project. And then a lot of times once you do those, you're ready to take those skills and move on to an even more complicated project. You'll note those in my Ravelry shop. If you don't want to search through all the listings, the small things, the coasters, the cozies, the little project bags, those are all designed to teach you a new thing. The middle things, the scarves, the cowls, those are usually my tier 2 to like move you to the next level. And then the tier 3 are usually hats. And then what I'm calling my tier 4 are my shawls. But I don't leave you hanging on any of it. I've got lots of video tutorials. I work very hard to be very descriptive and technically correct in how my patterns are written to get you to the next step. So that's one suggestion, just like a little plug for myself. But that's not really what you asked. You already have projects that you want to finish up. And I get that. I'm going to put are we still on A? Probably not. Little plug in for the WIP wrap up that's coming again in January. We will motivate each other and help each other to move along to finishing up the WIPs. I actually said to this was a couple weeks ago, I think I said it in the Olivio mystery. We started the first section and it was real short, and I felt so good about making 4 of them, and then the second section came and it was a lot more, and I was like, not feeling quite as good. And one of the people said to me, don't worry, Sarah, you don't have to finish them all now. There's always WIP wrap up. Yeah, there is. So don't feel like you need to tackle all of them now. But I do have a few suggestions that are not related specifically to me. Because it's about you, not me. I mean, it's a little bit about me, but still. So the first thing I would say is take a break. When you are like, right in there with a pattern and instructions, and you are frustrated and you just don't get it, taking a short break, I'm not saying like put it away for months, but taking a little break can make a big difference. If you've had a long, frustrating day, if you are just mentally or physically tired, sometimes patterns can seem confusing, and all you need is a step back to look at something different, to rest, to feed your body, eat a snack, and then come back to it, and it all looks so much clearer. I cannot tell you how many times I have been late night designing a pattern and like, it's not working. And then I'm like, and I put it down and I go to bed and I wake up in the morning and I'm like, oh, it works. I don't even know why. Nothing changed from the night to the morning, except for sleep. Sometimes that's all you need. Here's the caveat to that though. As someone who really likes to start things and those things get pushed back because of starting other things, you can't put it off for too long, because there's a sweet spot that if you put it off for too long, then you forget what you're doing, and then it's like you might as well be starting over, and you're probably going to get the whole frustrated situation again. So small step back, not like throw it across the room, and don't look at it for weeks. Okay. Suggestion number 27C. I'm a visual learner, and so I am bad at this one, but I always tell this to myself, so I'm going to tell it to you. When I'm looking at instructions and they don't make sense to me, I take a deep breath and I say, just do what it says, Sarah. Just do what it says. So then I sit down and I take it one step at a time. It says, with the wrong side facing you. I make the wrong side of my work face me. Insert your hook into the, starting chain. Find me at the starting chain. Insert my hook. Join my yarn. 3 double crochets, whatever. A lot of times when I can't visualize it, I think there must be an issue. But there's no issue. If I just do exactly what the pattern says, it works out. Not all the time, but a lot of the time. So if you're like, this makes no sense to me, take a break, eat a snack, go to sleep, wake up in the morning, come back, and then just stinkin' do what the instructions tell you to do. Is that foolproof? No, because sometimes instructions are wrong. Or sometimes the way your brain interprets an instruction is not quite how it is meant, which is why pattern testing is important. Because then I get other brains to look at it and say, like, that doesn't make sense to other people's brains. So there you go. Suggestion, whatever we're on. Find a video. Even if there isn't a video linked to your specific pattern, try to go search out a video for that seaming technique, that stitch that you don't really understand. Double check that you wash through a couple of them to make sure that they're correct, because sometimes, any Tom, Dick, or Sally, oh, hey, little birdie, can throw up a video on YouTube. So, you want to make sure you're getting one that's reputable and correct. Not going down that rant today, though. Check out the projects on Ravelry. You might see, like, if you're constructing something together and you're like, this makes no sense in my brain, a lot of people will put whip pictures in their Ravelry projects. That's the word I'm looking for. And so you may see like the panels laid out and go like, oh, now I see. I'm working on this part and that's going to go here. So check out the projects on Ravelry and the answer may be right there. Another suggestion is go to your local yarn shop if you have one and just ask. Local yarn shops are like up and down at how much they're willing to give help. I do a crochet SOS Time, I'm going to start doing it more regularly. I do that at my local yarn shop. That's a time for anybody who's having any problems to just come in and sit with me for a time, and we're going to figure out your problem. So not related to a specific class I'm teaching, not even related to my specific patterns, but just come in with that hat that doesn't make sense, that stitch you can't figure out, and we'll figure it out together. And then send a message to the designer. I know not all designers are great about responding. Customer service is something that's super important to me. My goal is to help you grow confidently in your craft. And if I'm not here to help you when you are struggling, I'm not doing that. Do all designers feel that way? No. Will some designers not provide that type of customer support? Some will not. But then maybe that's a choice in who you purchase patterns from, whether you're going to get support or not. So yeah, I'm not going deep down in my 2 cents about that, because I could talk to you for 45 minutes about that. Not going to do it. So those are some suggestions. If you all, I've said before and I will say again, it's not all about me. So if you have a suggestion of ways that you get over the hump of a challenging part of a project, let me know. One more, just like comment below so that we can all know. Don't just message me privately. We all want to know. Another idea real quick is, if it is something that is not crucial to the pattern, don't do it. So if you've got like this shawl that you love, the shawl, and there's a lace border, and that lace border is just like, you don't get it, just leave the lace border off. Try a different simple border instead. You can modify things. That's your right once you've purchased a pattern. Can't go out and sell it though. Don't do that. But you can leave the lace border off. You can trade out another, I don't know. You get trading out stitches, you might really muck stuff up, but you can try it. If it's got some funky half double crochet and you don't get it, and you just a regular half double crochet works for you, just change it into a regular half double crochet. See how it goes. I'm not guaranteeing it'll go great, but it might. So there you go. Excuse me. Goodness. All right. Question number 2. We're talking about photography again. I'm a hobbyist and don't want to invest that much into taking pictures. Do you have any equipment suggestions for me? Yes, I do. Okay, so if you haven't watched last week's video, you can go back and watch it. I talked about what I use to take my pictures, which I come from a family of, family might be excessive. My dad likes to take pictures. He knows what he's doing. He helped to guide me on purchasing a nicer camera. I'm not going to go into it. I have a nice camera because I like photography. And my dad does too. And some nicer equipment that I've invested in because it's my business. But even if it is your business, if you're starting out, you might not have the funds to invest in that just yet, and that's okay. So whether you're a hobbyist or you're just starting out, let's talk about some things that I think would help you be able. There's like a whole little flock of little, like, I don't know, wrens or something just right outside my window, and they're just flitting around, and they're adorable. It's raining outside, so they're probably like getting a little shelter maybe. I don't know. Distracted. Okay, so if you want to take pictures of yourself, which I gotta say, I highly recommend. It's so nice to not have to wait for somebody. It's so nice to not have to, like, there are some people who have a real natural knack for framing photographs, for noticing that like your hair is sticking up funny back there. Let's fix that. There are others who are not, and you might end up in more of an argument than is worth it. So I take my own pictures of myself, and I highly recommend it. So here's what I would suggest if you would like to take pictures of yourself by yourself. You need a tripod. You need something that's going to hold your phone, because I guess I should say, I'm assuming you're going to take pictures of yourself with your phone, because that's the thing that almost everybody has. And if you're not going to take pictures with a nice camera, your phone can probably manage. There are some real nice cameras on phones right now, and there are lots of very fancy people who only take pictures and videos and everything with their phones. So it is 100% possible. But I think one of the things you really need is a tripod. There is such a variety of these, from real expensive to real cheap. What I would recommend though is getting an actual stand that like sits on the floor and you can rise up and your phone into to take pictures. I do not recommend something, I'm pointing here because this is my window. I do not recommend something that sticks to a window for lighting and staging purposes. We can talk about that another time. A real actual free-standing tripod that you can connect your phone to and move places to take pictures. And then if you're taking pictures of yourself, I recommend making sure that your camera is facing yourself. I wouldn't put it in the tripod and have the screen facing away from you and the back camera facing you. Now, I will confess, there may be other people who are like, yeah, that's what you should do. And maybe you would get good at that. But to me, if you're taking a picture of yourself, being able to see yourself on the screen and like, are you in camera or does your neck look like that, is real helpful. So once you do that, what you need then, and I think this is like the key, you can get a remote. That's what it's called. All I could think of was click-or-do. A remote that will connect to your phone. And they are little, and so they're real easy to hide. I use my whole phone as my remote. And so I always have to hide my whole entire phone if I'm taking like a full body shot. But a little remote, you can just, hide in your hand. The reason I recommend that is your phone is always focusing, and if you use a timer, you're way more likely to end up with a blurry shot as you're trying to like make your adjustment. I mean, you can see when I move in and out of the light, oh, of course, now it's not going to do it. My phone is trying to adjust to focus. You're way more likely to end up with a lot of blurry pictures if you're trying to like click the thing and then run away, or pictures that are like weird lighting and stuff like that. So I think they're not expensive. A little remote for your phone will be priceless. And then once you've taken your pictures, there it goes. There are several free editing apps where you can edit right on your phone. I told you last time that I use Lightroom to edit my pictures. Lightroom has an app, and that's the one I would recommend. It's free, and it's real good. It has the free one has many of the same features that my big computer one has. I will say the reason I rarely take pictures on my phone and then use my phone to edit my pictures is because I just can't be as accurate. The file size isn't as big, so the nuance isn't there. And then when you're like sliding things with your fingers versus typing in exact numbers, it's just not my preference. But if you if you don't want to invest the money or don't have the money, a Lightroom app is free. So that's a good way to do it. I don't recommend just throwing on a filter. Some people do that. Sometimes that works okay. But I would adjust like your exposure, which means how bright it is, and your shadows and all of that. I would do that manually. And you may find like I always bump the saturation up this much. I always increase the exposure this much. I always turn up the blues to make it cool or turn down the blues to make it warm. That kind of stuff. But yeah, just a general filter. I mean, I shouldn't say that. They've come a long way with filters, and there are some filters that you may find like I always just apply this filter and I really like the way my picture looks. And that's fine. I will say when people test for me, sometimes, not a lot, but sometimes people will slap a filter on and it's like, oh, that's like real, not real. If that makes sense. That's real, not real. So just be careful, and especially if you're testing for someone else, you know, think about what is helpful to them. A filter that totally changes like the look of the stitches and stuff because it's blurring stuff, you know, that's maybe not super helpful. So that's the equipment I would get if I was taking pictures with my phone of myself. Tripod, remote, and then a free app. I want to recommend to you, as I said, I'm not someone who takes pictures with my phone, so I'm not an expert in that, but I do follow someone on my private Instagram account, my personal one, who she talks posing and taking pictures with your phone. And so she's got a lot of real great tips for that. And I'm going to totally pronounce her name wrong, so I will link her Instagram in the show notes so you can just go click it and not have to try to find it. But I'm going to try. I think her name is Baya Babil. Babil? I tried. She's a fun and spunky little blonde lady that takes gorgeous pictures. She offers classes and filters and all sorts of stuff, resources. So go back and look through her stuff. She's real great. Highly recommend. So there you go. I hope that you found that helpful. Let me know if you have questions. Drop in the comments if you have suggestions, things you use, whether it's apps for editing or a resource of somebody who does phone photography stuff. I'd love to know, as would everyone else. Thank you so much for joining me today, and happy crafting.